who is shaping peace in Gaza? Why PM Modi has declined the invitation to the summit by President Donald Trump? What is at stake and what will peace look like, and how India is balancing all the powers? World leaders are going to gather in Egypt for Gaza Peace Summit, and India is going to be represented by Minister of State rather than our Prime Minister. Is this a missed opportunity or a master stroke of strategic diplomacy? Hello everyone, welcome to Vajram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh, and today we are going to understand that why this peace summit has been convened, who are the conveners of this summit, what are their motives, and where is India in between all of this. So starting with why this summit has been convened. So for this we need the historical background. So this starts in 2023 when the Gaza war erupted after Hamas struck Israel, and after that we saw counter strikes from Israel, and which led to one of the biggest humanitarian crises that we have seen on the globe. This gradually led on to refugee flows, infrastructure collapse, and a global chaotic environment, because it was not just Israel and Hamas but the allies involved with them as well. So finally, after all of this, when there were 40,000 deaths, massive displacement, finally ceasefire was brokered, and it was brokered by two entities. The first one, US, and then we had Egypt and Qatar. So it has been recently brokered, and the Gaza peace plan, the first phase, has been praised by our own country as well. So this has been set in motion to basically bring peace to the war-ridden region, especially when we are talking about Israel and Palestine. So in this very context, this summit is being conducted by the President of Egypt, that is El-Sisi, and President Donald Trump from US, and this summit will take place at Sharm el-Sheikh. And the whole idea of conducting this summit here is to finally consolidate the ceasefire and bring longevity to the peace plan which has been proposed, and at the same time work on the reconstruction of the war-torn region that lies at our end. Now, one good question that would come to your mind, that US, the President Donald Trump, he wants his entity to be as the peacemaker. His campaign for Nobel Peace Prize has not ended in 2025 with the announcement of the Peace Prize as Maria Corina Machado, but it rather goes on to extend it for the candidature for next year. We'll get into the motives also. I hope you have understood that why this summit has been convened. Now let us move ahead and understand that how India has been involved, and why are we calling this as a missed opportunity or a master stroke of strategic diplomacy. So basically, PM Modi was also invited for this very summit very recently directly by President Donald Trump. However, PM Modi has declined the invitation, and rather his special envoy led by Minister of State will be going to this particular summit. So this is another key highlight that brings the whole triangle in front of us to understand what is US motive, Egypt's motive, and then why India has declined to be represented by our Prime Minister, why just Minister of State. So we will be breaking these layers one by one. So यहाँ पे जो सबसे पहले चीज हमारे सामने है वो समझते हैं कि यहाँ पे ऑर्गेनाइजर्स कौन है और इनके मोटिव्स क्या है। पहला ऑर्गेनाइजर है जो वो इजिप्ट है। तो अगर आप इजिप्ट की लोकेशन देखेंगे, मेनी ऑफ यू माइट थिंक दैट इट इज लिमिटेड टू हेयर, दैट इज इन अफ्रीका, but beyond this water body, can you tell me in the comment section which is this water body? We have Suez Canal here, which is this water body. There is this Sinai Peninsula, जहाँ पर हमारी ये summit जो है conduct होने वाली. This summit is going to be conducted in Sharm el-Sheikh, which is present on Sinai Peninsula. And if you look at this, that means Egypt not only shares border with Gaza, but also Israel directly. So in this, Egypt has a direct security concern where it clearly wants that there should be no conflict spillover, especially into the Sinai Peninsula, and they also wanted to manage the refugee flow. Now, apart from the security concern, Egypt also had a diplomatic prestige as and when it has held the traditional role where it has been the main bridge between the Arab nations as well as Israel. So this was the time when Egypt could revive that role again, and this will bring economic incentives to Egypt as well. That means Egypt को यहाँ पे access मिलेगा ताकि वो reconstruction funds डाल सके, trade diversification कर सके, और ये इन रीजनल कॉरिडोर से हो सकेगा क्योंकि यहाँ पे इजिप्ट जो है वो मेन ब्रोकर रहा है, स्पेशली जब हम इस पीस प्लान की बात करते हैं. एंड अबव ऑल दिस ऑल्सो हैज अ स्ट्रैटेजिक डिप्लोमैटिक एंगल, which is the fact that Egypt also wants to bring it to the table on the global map that we are the leaders of this region. Especially जब हम बात करें यहाँ पे सऊदी ईरान का रिप्रोचमेंट हो चुका है, टर्किश एम्बिशंस जो हैं बढ़ रहे हैं, इसमें यहाँ पर इजिप्ट जो है अपना एक मार्क छोड़ना चाहता है. So Egypt has enough reasons. Why is US involved? US का प्राइमरी रीजन इन्वॉल्व होने का हमें ऐसा लग सकता है कि इट इज इजराइल. The primary reason we could think that it is Israel because US has been an all-time ally of Israel. But that's not it. There are multiple factors apart from that as well. US wants reclamation of influence that it has had in the Asian region, especially in the West Asian region. क्योंकि in recent times अगर हम बात करें तो US ने यहाँ पे चाइना की जो डिप्लोमैटिक सुप्रीमेसी है उसकी वजह से काफी इन्फ्लुएंस की कमी हमने देखी है यूएस के कॉन्टेक्स्ट से. सो व्हाट एग्जैक्टली हैपेंड, यूएस हैज लॉस्ट इट इन्फ्लुएंस स्पेशली इन दिस रीजन because Beijing brought in the Iran and Saudi deal. So the rapprochement or the closeness that we are talking about between Iran and Saudi, that was brokered by Beijing. So Beijing, that means, has a certain control or diplomatic influence in this region. US does not want that. So US wants to come and reclaim that influence. Apart from that, US is trying to rebuild its credibility, especially in West Asia. Why we are talking about credibility? Because in recent times there have been multiple situations, multiple examples where Israel has acted on its own and US has been left just guessing or just giving excuses for the same. So many times this narrative has come out that US has no credibility in West Asia anymore. So US wants to be main stakeholder of this peace plan, and this is all about the narrative and the Nobel Peace Prize that Donald Trump wants, that he is the peacemaker president. He is responsible for all the ceasefires, all the agreements that you see. He has been claiming the even India-Pakistan ceasefire of 2025, which has been continuously denied, but he still goes ahead and claims that. And last but never the least reason here comes to be the money factor. Money in terms of all supply chains. If this region was rocked with wars for coming time, the global supply chains, the global supply would have suffered. And to protect its own allies, US, that means Israel, then we have Saudi, to protect them, it came into the picture and stop it for once and all. Now that gives a very clear picture of the fact that why this summit came into picture and why it has been brokered and convened by the two important entities in this scenario. But the next question that should come in your mind is the fact that what this peace plan is all about, or what this summit is all about. So if we talk about this whole summit, as I said, the focus is on reconstruction, the focus is on long-term peace existing in the region, as well as bringing in funds. So when we talk about the confirmed attendees, you will find all the stakeholders which are important for this peace plan to exist. The funders and the fundraisers will be there, but there is a list of people who would be not showing up. For example, if we talk about an important entity is going to be the Israel Prime Minister, who is going to be not present there, and he has cited domestic reason. If we talk about Iran, it has already declined that it is not going to be part of this because it is biased. And if we talk about Hamas, it has been brokered by intermediaries, and that's why Hamas has not been invited to this particular summit. The main question that would remain in your mind, that what will be done what will be done in this summit. So let us understand that now. The objectives of the Sharm el-Sheikh summit are pretty clear. The immediate objectives are to bring a final endorsement that this is the actual Israel-Hamas ceasefire and it is taking place. Second is also to look into the coordination of humanitarian aid और यहाँ पे safe corridor access की जो बात की जा रही है, especially via Egypt's Rafah crossing, वो कैसे possible होगी. Moreover, it's not just about humanitarian aid and the inflow and outflow via certain crossing. It is also important to address the situation of hostages. So amidst the immediate objectives, exchange of hostages and prisoners will also be done. So that leaves a stamp that this plan is going to work. It is consolidated, it has been brought in place and it is being executed. Furthermore, it has some long-term objectives as well. The long-term objective include primarily that how reconstruction will take place in Gaza. For that, there will be a launch of Gaza Reconstruction Fund and the contributions will be coming from Gulf nation, US and European Union. Basically, the allies who were responsible for the war are going to help and construct back, develop back the war-torn region and take the credit for it. Apart from, there will be a proper security framework which will be developed so that the militarization of Gaza that has taken place in past, that does not happen in coming times. And there will be an immense focus on critical infrastructure, be it housing, be it hospitals, schools, electricity grid, and all of this will serve a foundation on which we will see hopefully we will see this two-state resolution being carried out, especially under international supervision. Now that we have understood the dimensions related to this peace summit, now let us move ahead and understand India's representation and what approach India is going to follow. In the starting itself, I explained that PM Modi did get the invitation and that too directly from President Donald Trump, but he said no. यहाँ पे representation जो होगा वो हमारा Minister of State करेंगे, that is PM मोदी का special envoy है and वो कीर्ति वर्धन सिंह Minister of State of External Affairs वो hold करेंगी. Now, just the declining of invitation is not important, but who is being substituted and what is the idea behind it, that is also important to understand. यहाँ पर अगर हम इंडिया की बात करें तो इंडिया ने हमेशा अपना स्टांस जो है कंसिस्टेंस रखा है कि हम जो है पीस को सपोर्ट करते हैं और हम पैलेस्टीनियन वेलफेयर चाहते हैं, बट एट द सेम टाइम वी वांट टू कीप आवर बायलैटरल टाइज विद इजराइल very strong. Israel is one of those countries which has stood very strongly with us even in the times when we were at war with Pakistan, and it has not been in small words, minced words, direct words where it has supported India. So India is very clear that we do not want to compromise on our ties with Israel. इंडिया ने इसी वजह से यहाँ पे पहले भी ह्यूमैनिटेरियन एड जो है गाजा को भेजा हुआ है और साथ ही साथ UNRWA के प्रोजेक्ट जो है रेफ्यूजी वेलफेयर के जो प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं उनको भी सपोर्ट किया हुआ है. एंड यहाँ पे एक इम्पॉर्टेंट टर्म जो है आपको समझने के लिए मिलेगी, दैट इज de-hyphenation अप्रोच. बेसिकली इंडिया ने इजराइल और पैलेस्टीन के दोनों के साथ एंगेज किया है बट इंडिपेंडेंटली, और यहाँ पर बीच में इंडिया जो है वो बैलेंस मेंटेन करके रखा है इस पूरी फॉरेन पॉलिसी में. So in this situation, if we talk about why PM Modi has declined, the official reason has been cited is the fact that it was too short of a notice and just in few days it would be difficult to manage the presence at the summit. But if we look at this, we understand that it has clear diplomatic reasons, and this clearly marks that India is very particular that how one present, one absent, especially at the global forum, can change the dialogue. So in this scenario, India is committed to the cause, but India does not want to be seen as over enthusiastic, over committed. That means अगर PM मोदी जो है यहाँ पे present होंगे तो वो ये सिग्नल करेगा कि वो साइड्स ले रहे हैं, स्पेशली इस वक्त यूएस की तरफ, और ये एक सेंसिटिव रीजनल इशू है. इंडिया जो है इस पे अपना नैरेटिव चेंज नहीं करना चाहेगा. अब पीएम मोदी की अगर वहां प्रेजेंस नहीं है तो इट विल ऑल्सो डायरेक्टली फैसिलिटेट प्रिजर्विंग न्यूट्रलिटी, बिकॉज एक इक्वी डिस्टेंस बना रहेगा इजराइल, Hamas, and then we are talking about Arab bloc and US as well. इसके अलावा बायलैटरल प्रायोरिटीज जो हैं वो इंडिया ने क्लियरली हाईलाइट किए हैं कि वो उनके लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. इंडिया की ऑलरेडी शेड्यूल्ड मीटिंग है इजिप्ट के साथ, जहां पे एक स्ट्रैटेजिक डायलॉग होने वाला है बायलैटरल एंगेजमेंट के लिए. सो इंडिया हैज सेड वी वांट टू फोकस ऑन दैट, एंड it has also been highlighted that we are committed to our domestic causes as well. तो नेशनल कमिटमेंट इस सिचुएशन में इंपॉर्टेंट है. तो हम वहाँ पे प्रेजेंट होने वाले हैं, बट हम किसी तरीके का रैटलिंग नहीं करने वाले हैं, हम किसी तरीके के ओवर कमिटमेंट नहीं करने वाले हैं. और इसी वजह से इस डिसीजन को यहाँ पर हम एक मास्टर स्ट्रोक ऑफ स्ट्रैटेजिक डिप्लोमेसी कह सकते हैं, where we are not against the peace plan. We have fully promoted the phase 1 of Gaza peace plan. We have endorsed that also. We are going to send a representation also, but we are showing that yes, we have our commitment towards our bilateral ties, toward domestic ties, and we will take things as per our own understanding, our autonomy, and that also does not mean that we are not committed to the cause of regional peace. Amidst all this, another important development that has taken place, that Donald Trump has quickly visited Israel as well. And the important point here is that Israel and Egypt both have decided to give the highest civilian honors for the peace effort. So when Donald Trump is not getting Nobel Peace Prize, he is getting the highest civilian honors, and basically he is paving his way for the nomination for the year of 2026, where multiple world leaders have already nominated him. Can you tell me in the comment section which are the world leaders which have already nominated President Donald Trump for Nobel Peace Prize nominations for 2026? Now on this note, let us conclude and understand the implication for India. This is the time where India's global diplomatic stature is going to be seen as a responsible voice. India has shown priority to India and Egypt's ties, and this is where India and Egypt will also get to come close, because this is being campaigned by Egypt and India is promoting that. India is going to be present, and India is also focusing on their bilateral ties. Apart from that, it directly opens door for infrastructure and reconstruction investments by India in Gaza, and most of all, it reinforces the multi-alignment strategy, especially in the chaotic West Asia, which is the much need of the hour. If we talk about the global scenario, it changes Egypt's position. It brings Egypt to the central focal point, especially when we are talking about Arabic diplomacy. It allows US to come back to the West Asian geopolitical space, and most importantly, it brings a pause, hopefully an end to the humanitarian crisis that we were seeing in West Asia. Now that was all from my side. Thank you so much.